There he is. All right, one love. One love. One love.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, my friend. I see you've already lit up.
I have.
All right. Well, for those brave souls joining us on our first attempt at doing this, to my right is the Honorable Jonathan Cottrell.
Thank you. And to my left is the Honorable Doug Meisinger.
Oh, too kind.
The crowd goes wild.
They do. And I would like to point out that we cleverly waited until the podcast bubble had completely burst before we decided to get into doing this. Waited until there was absolutely no ability to make money at doing this at all.
At all.
And then we go in.
But you know what? The demand for the Jonathan and Doug conversation.
Overwhelming.
How many people have asked us, what do y'all talk about? Like, what do you...
It's usually, what are you laughing at? we'll be at like some event or whatever and just frustrating the hell out of whoever's up there talking.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? It's like, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
And you probably won't get this either, but here we are.
And here we are doing what we love.
Coffee and cigars. I am drinking out of a Cottrell Realty because I think everybody realizes that coffee tastes better out of a Cottrell. So,
you just
trademark that if you want.
You
know, that's why I'm here. Hey, man, touching hearts and changing lives. That's what it's all about, right?
And right now, you're touching my lips. Because I've got a Meisinger City Council.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The campaign mug.
It is.
Which I still have, like, way too many of.
Was this the effort campaign or the...
Yeah, this... Well, I'm not sure either one of them were much of an effort campaign, but more so than the second one. So the idea behind that one was everybody... I'm kind of known for being a bit of a coffee snob, and, you know, I drink coffee morning, noon, and night. So I was going to do little, like, I guess, coffee with the candidate events.
Right.
And I talked to John at Javal.
Right.
Hello, John at Javal.
Make a great sponsor. Go ahead.
Of the show, I would. Yeah. Where's the money, man? But it was going to become have coffee, talk about what we're going to talk about, and then you just leave and take the mug. And then COVID hit, and so that was kind of off the table. But I don't know. There were throughout the whole campaign and then subsequent campaign, people would post their pictures of the mug, which is very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but it's a great. I mean, you know, hell, it's a good mug. It's huge. It holds an insane amount of coffee.
Yeah.
So,
I seem to remember Wankowitz making a comment once about the size of the man's mug. Right.
That sounds
the
like
handle,
something Wankowitz would say.
You know, making sure that you've got a nice big handle. I'm
waiting on him to throw his name in the ring for. I think he'd be fantastic.
He'd be great. Yeah.
But we are doing this the morning after Thanksgiving, and I know you had probably a little bit more of a traditional Thanksgiving than I typically have.
Well, I will say traditional from the sense of time with family, yes, but I am definitely not fixated on a traditional meal on Thanksgiving. You know, I like variety in my life. And so we made some steaks.
Nice.
No turkey. Mashed potatoes, wrapped asparagus with some bacon. Girls made some apple pies and banana bread, and, you know, I mean, hey, we made a menu based on what we like, you know.
As it should be.
Yes, as it should be. So my mother came over, and yeah, I mean, you know, that's the tradition. Sat around the table and said, what are we thankful for? Everything from Chick-fil-A to the company at the table to the wine I was drinking. So yeah, that was our tradition yesterday. So I'd already had plenty of turkey, other, you know, functions. So
I did once. We did a thing at City Hall for the staff and PD and all that stuff. And a guy in Kemah, Daniel Conrad, he collected a bunch of donations.
Yeah.
And then most of us most of the elected folk were up there for it, and that was a nice little thing. But my no, my thing was I bought Oppenheimer a couple of days before, and then I bought Geddy Lee's new book. So I thought, well, I'll watch a long ass movie, and I'll try to see how deep I can get into a long ass book.
Yeah. Finish the
smoke
movie.
A couple of I
mean, it's like
it.
3 or 4 hours, right?
It's 3+. You know what?
I'd fall asleep.
I wouldn't. It just didn't do it for me. And I love long movies. I mean, I have when I was younger and had considerably more time on my hands, but I once watched all 3 Godfather movies. Boom, boom, boom. So it's not an attention span with me, but it was. I think you can go into too deep a dive, and I think this went into too deep a dive for me. It's like I didn't really, we could have. It's one of those movies where it's like, how was it? It was okay. I can think of at least 45 minutes I would have cut out of that thing, just to tighten it up a bit. But I watched that.
Wasn't as intriguing as Titanic, right? For 3 hours. I mean, come on.
No.
Okay, Jack and Rose.
No,
right?
Dude, come on, no.
I mean, Oppenheimer, Titanic, right?
That's not. What? All right. So, an Avatar.
Okay.
Are you aware that Avatar is just nothing but dancing? It's just Dancing with Wolves.
No.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you right now, that story is Dancing with Wolves.
That's a mind-blowing situation right there.
Mm-hmm. Go back and revisit the storyline and the whole story. It's Dances with Wolves. That's all it is. It's Dances with Wolves with blue people.
Mind blowing.
That's all I can tell you about it. I'm not a fan of that one. I don't like Titanic. I don't like Avatar. I didn't like. Amadeus is a great long movie.
Ooh,
that's a great long movie. But
that's one of those classics that everybody needs to watch Amadeus.
Oh yeah, multiple times. But that was my plan.
Yeah,
and I did achieve those things, but in the middle, because I always I'm not a holiday guy. I don't get it.
Really?
I don't really subscribe to any of it.
Say that like I don't
know. And in fact, when I had custody of Alex when he was little, it was set up to where I guess I got him for Thanksgiving, and then she would get him for Christmas, and the following year you would swap. I would just say take him for both.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a big deal made over there, and there will not be a big deal made here.
Yeah.
I would give cash and just be like, hey, here's some money.
Go buy a turkey.
Go buy whatever you want. Well, like for presents and shit like that. So, but I'd be like, here's some money. Go get what you want. I need me to, I'll take you to the store. Buy whatever the hell you want with it.
So you had your movie, you had your book. Gee,
I did. Now Raul, who works here,
about, right?
He was like, "Do you want me to fix you something?" And I said, "No." I said, "But I'm probably going to put a dent in that thing of soup."
Oh,
but just you don't need to fix me anything. When he left Wednesday night, but then my son Greg called, and he had plans that fell through, and he wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was like, I had a toboggan hat on.
Yeah. Nice.
I had a sweatshirt. I had some thick ass pajama pants. I had slippers and a blanket over me. I was watching my movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, all right, buddy, yeah, we'll go somewhere. And so we went to IHOP.
Did you really?
Of all places, and I guess I just don't understand how the world works in situations like that. I thought it would have been a ghost town.
Right.
That place was packed.
What time were y'all there?
It was about noonish.
Okay.
Noon, 12:30.
Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. I mean, it was jammed. And it was like it was like families and stuff. And like a lot of little kids, because they were trashing the place. I mean, there were like, sugar packets all over the floor. The place was really, and everybody was eating like, we're doing a turkey and stuff. I got eggs.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't, but Greg got the whole turkey and all the stuff that goes with that.
Yeah.
And it was nice. We had a nice little bit, and then he went his way, I went mine, and I got right back in the same shit I was wearing before I left. And
hell yeah.
But that was the thing. I told him, I said, well, I'm kind of stuck into this movie, and I still have like a long way to go, and it's not advancing much. It's like we're still a long way from it. It's like there's a bomb at some point in this thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like pushing 2 hours.
We know how it ends.
And so I said, I'll call you when the movie's over. And as it kept going, I was like, hell, I could turn this off right now and never even come back and revisit it. So I called him. I said, you just want to go now?
Yeah.
And then when I came back and I decided to finish it because,
Yeah.
I mean, I bought it. I bought it on iTunes. And I was thinking, shit, was there a rental option on that? Because I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. But it was that was a nice, relaxing, quiet day, and yeah, I have no complaints on it.
Well,
Yeah,
pretty amazing. Well, good day. Hey, tell me about this this cigar. I mean, I have been looking forward to smoking this cigar like for the last couple of days, thinking about just man. I know how amazing it is, and so yeah.
It's an amazing stick, and I mean, if you look at the burn line on that thing, it is just so. I mean, yours is perfect, and the cap maintains perfectly, and the construction's great, the flavor's great, the blend is amazing. I've told this story here at the place multiple times, but now we'll just document it. Now when somebody asks a story, here's a link.
Bam.
But so what had happened with this was I had flown to Tulsa for the Bob Dylan Center. I thought about going for the grand opening of it, but we were busy, couldn't get away. But I really wanted to go to the Bob Dylan Center, and so a couple months after it opened, I booked a flight and flew up there in the morning. And I was just going to Uber, do the tour, go to a hotel, and then fly back the next morning. So I fly up, I take an Uber to the center, and I get there, and it's in the morning. The place isn't open yet. So I walk down the street, and it's this really cool part of Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very nice part of Tulsa. And walked over and had breakfast, walked back. And it's what, are you familiar with Cane's Ballroom?
No, Cane's Chicken.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
No, Cane's Ballroom is this very, very well-known concert venue. And one of the great stories about, there's so many great stories about Dylan, but not long after that museum had opened, Dylan was on tour and he was playing Cane's Ballroom. And it's like 3 or 4 blocks from the Bob Dylan Center, which is this huge museum dedicated to his entire life, handwritten lyrics, the jacket he wore when he went electric, and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, hey, well, we're going to, bring you to the center. He's never seen it. And nah, he didn't want to go. Just like, he's 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to just take you down there and let you see all the stuff. He had zero interest in going to look at it. So, but I flew up, which it was, if you're a Dylan fan, it's Mecca. But it was a great visit. And as I was leaving, it was still pretty early in the day. I decided, well, I need to find a cigar lounge. And I did the cigar lounge near me thing on Google, and it was like, oh, it's right there. I was like right next to one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in and I grabbed a cigar that I was very familiar with, and then I had come across this whole section of these Stallone cigars. Now, I had seen these advertised quite a bit, and they were getting really good press. The reviews were great, and I honestly thought Sylvester Stallone started a cigar company. That's what I thought.
Hey, it's got a stallion on it.
It does, and it says Stallone, and it's like, oh, he has his own cigar. That's nice. But that was not the case. And so I bought it and I smoked it, and it was one of those rare instances where I was smoking a cigar that was so good, I started calling people.
Mm.
I was like, dude, have you had one of these? And like a couple of people, like, oh yeah, they're amazing. Yes, it's really good. And so I did the obligatory picture.
Yeah.
If you follow me on social media, you're scuba diving in 2 feet of water. B, it's almost all just pictures of cigars in my hand. But and I tagged the company in it, and I think they commented on it or whatever. But like a few days after I got back, I got an email. They're saying, hey, thank you for the kind words. By the way, we noticed you own a cigar lounge. And if you'd be interested in carrying these, here's the catalog, here's the price list, which, respect the hustle on that. And I said, great. And I sent it off to the distributor that I was buying through, and I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later, I'm here and somebody's like, hey, Doug, there's somebody here to see you. And I walk out there, and it's Tony Barrios, the founder of the company.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
you know. And so we had a cigar. He came back the next day. We had another cigar. We kind of started this little, you know, friendship because he was living in Miami at the time, and we chat every now and again and stuff. And then he'd come back here for an event. It was pretty late. You know, we were long closed, and he was sitting up here and he said, "I really want to make a vinyl draft cigar." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, I would love to do that." And I said, "Well, yeah, man, cool. Let's see how we should do that." Thinking nothing else of it.
Yeah.
Well, every time I talk to him, we bring it up again. So I called him one day. I said, "So, okay, what would this entail? What would you need? How would we go about doing this?"
Yeah.
And we put the whole thing together. It would be this, it would be that, it'd be all this stuff. And he said, and then he told me, he says, "And I want to make the blend myself." He says, "I'm not going to have one of my people."
It's like the hands of God have touched.
It was
for
the
you.
sweetest thing.
You
know,
you have had Tony's hands on your stick.
Well, there you go. Yeah. You know, they say it's typically 300 hands touch a hand-rolled cigar before.
That's a lot of
time
hands.
They start to plant the tobacco till it lands in yours.
Hands to make it happen.
So many. But he said he wanted to do the blend. This would be his gift to me, and you know, he would love to do this for me. I said, okay, great. So he makes some blends, brought them to me. I think he actually brought them, and he's telling me all about them. You know, this one's this. Then he gives me this one stack, right? And they're all bundled up, and he says, "Now this." Now one thing I did say, I wanted a barber pole because I love the look of a barber pole. If you can't see it, it's a barber pole. Yeah. He said, "Now this is the Doug cigar." He says, "This is everything I know about my friend." He says, "This has coffee flavor. It's vanilla. It's nice because it's everything I know you love in a cigar."